This is the Success Happy Hour Experience. I'm your show host, Rob from The Drunken Grape. And of course, with Happy Hour, we break drinks, having extraordinary conversations with extraordinary individuals, sharing some of the very best in the alcoholic beverage world. So grab a drink, sit down, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this content. Comment in the video. And to kick things off, Dubai, we are continuing with the Global Real Estate series of success and how to do it. In trying times of higher inflation, high taxes that are really slamming the Western world, one of the things that we really want to look into is for those that look to relocate, because a lot of opportunity sits there. My guest, Lucy Parker, is going to share some brilliant insights. She is a real estate expert currently living in Dubai. Lucy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, thank you, Rob, and cheers, everybody.
Yes, I've got a crack of beer, so I've got a stout. This is I had coffee because this is still, it's just after 9 in the morning here in Ottawa, Canada. Yeah, so I figured I'd crack a stout or a porter rather. I mean, they're the same family of beer. Cheers to you. What do you have in your hand?
Well, now I'm going to be very honest here. I am not drinking alcohol because after this interview, I'm off to the England football game at the World Cup and I need to drive to get there. And there's a zero tolerance of drink driving on the road. So, yeah, I'm having a
good
drink.
There should be. I do permit, as a sommelier and a beer sommelier, professionally working in this space, a mixologist as well, 20 some odd years bartending. I can tell you, you should be drinking light to moderate consumption and do not ever get into behind the wheel of any vehicle, even if you've had one. Come on, man. Just get in a cab, hire a driver. You're going to save yourself a lot of headache if you get nailed. It's just not worth it. And I'm glad you're doing that. You're off to the World Cup of England versus the USA at the time of this recording. This is going to come out after that game, so it'll be interesting to see the comments. But I have England slamming them 3-0. I don't see... especially after drawing with Wales, the Americans have no hope in hell. The Three Lions are one of the top 4 teams that can win it all. That's the way I see it. I mean, your team went to the Euro Championship final, only to lose a squeaker to Italy. But still, going there seems to sort of follow a successive pattern. France went there, and guess what happened in 2018? France lost the final in Portugal, and then they won the World Cup. So I could see England doing the same thing. It's Harry Kane's time. What a great captain. What a great leader. So much success to you. I have British in-laws, family, so that's important. Speaking of England, porters. This is from Overflow Brewing. This is a craft beer from Ottawa, Canada. It's actually really good. You get a lot of coffee and espresso notes. There's always a sort of a chocolatey character in here as well. Dark chocolate. It's basically mocha in a glass. And this style was really popularized by the British Empire. You're going to love to hear this being English. Back in the turn of the 17th and 18th centuries, we really are looking at tying this into the full-blown Industrial Revolution. And this is the first beer style that went global thanks to the British Empire. The British have actually had a massive hand in the world of modern brewing. Massive. So cheers to you, my friend. That's a happy hour, ladies and gentlemen. Lucy, let's get to real estate. Yes, let's get to real estate. So big shout out to Francois Lanthier for connecting me with you. He's a good friend of mine here in Ottawa. We're both Canadian. He's obviously French-Canadian. I'm on the English side. But what a terrific guy. What a neat fellow. Make sure to check out his website, ladies and gentlemen, at francoislanthier.com. But getting back to that, Lucy, tell me about the Dubai scene today and why are people continuing to flock there? I mean, I listed some thoughts in the beginning of the show. People hate high taxes. We're overtaxed in the West. Canada's drilled with taxes. We got tax and spend governments like Justin Trudeau in office right now, which are actually just wreaking havoc on the economy. A lot of first world nations hit the printing press button on their fiat currency dollars, flooded the market. Inflation's ravishing here. I mean, you had houses selling for $200,000 over asking, and now the interest rates have spiked as well, like 2.5%, 3%, I think 3.5%. So somebody with a mortgage, let's say $2,500 a month, is easily paying over $4,000 a month now in Canada. They're going bankrupt. They're going poor. And for the viewers out there watching this, you got the means start looking globally. And Dubai is one of those places. It's never going to go downhill on you, is it?
Well, exactly, Rob. So let me set the scene a little bit. So for your viewers, they know a little bit about my background. So I have been in Dubai for 10 years selling real estate at Keller Williams.
Wow.
And I've actually been in the Gulf for nearly 17 years. So, a third of my life I've been in this part of the world, and I'm still here, which is testament to, it is the best place on the planet to live. And I say that not lightly because, Rob, I've actually lived on 4 continents myself. I've traveled to over 75 countries. I speak 3 languages. And so when I say it is the best place to live, I mean, I'm speaking out of personal experience. I was thinking, should I go and live in Mexico, or should I live in, Indonesia, Bali, or Costa Rica? I've lived in Costa Rica before, and I've lived in Central America and Europe. But the thing is, in Europe, you've got taxes. You've had all of this pandemic issue. Then in, the other countries, they didn't handle the pandemic so well, and the medical facilities and safety and lots of other, sort of developing country issues, which we won't go into here. So if you think about it, for those of your viewers watching, Rob, who are global citizens, who are opening their eyes to a smaller world post-pandemic. We were all sat on our laptops, right? We were stuck. We couldn't get out of the house. Were we still continuing to do business? Yes. But were we still paying tax in a country maybe where there was rain and snow and it was horrid weather outside? Yes. So that is what's happened. So since the pandemic has finished, people have realized, well, I can work from my laptop anywhere in the world. I can have sunshine 365 days. I don't have to pay tax. Now, obviously, it depends what nationality you are watching, and I can help any nationality about how you can, minimize and be creative with that as well. We have lots of great tax advisors with us. We have no tax here. Okay, no property tax, no income tax, no tax. And so the other thing is that people recognize, well, I can just up and go with my laptop. Let me have a better life. Like I was stuck in this pandemic. Life was pretty bleak. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to make the most of my life because we never know when we're going to be in that again. Right. So
True.
The world
absolutely.
changed. Yeah. So that's what happened. And so what really went on was not only have different nationalities started looking outside their home countries, okay, and I know there's a lot of North American audience here, but you want to diversify. You don't want all of your assets in the same jurisdiction, with the same currency, in the same region, with the same government. You want to spread the risk, especially after the last couple of years.
Yes.
And Dubai ticks all the boxes. Okay. And the one box I haven't even spoken about, which I believe for the world's wealthy in particular, but for anyone, is safety. We have almost zero crime. Okay. So as a woman, I can walk out night and day in the parks, go running on my own. I never look over my shoulder. You can see people charging their phones in a in a corridor in a shopping mall, and they've left it charging, and they're round the corner in a shop and it's still there. It doesn't get taken. Okay. Where would that happen in the world? Like, I'm from the UK. It wouldn't happen in England. It definitely wouldn't happen, in the US or Canada or any of these countries. So the fact is that people are looking for a better lifestyle where they can let their children go out and play and they're not be worried, well, is there going to be a crime later? Or, is there going to be someone like running through a school with a gun? We don't have that. We don't have that at all. And so what I've noticed is that as we attract a lot more wealthier people that don't want to be paying tax on their income in other countries, because predominantly a lot of my clients are from Europe, but not all. So they are coming here. I have a classic example. I had a French couple from the south of France. This was like the largest sale of my life two months ago.
Oh, cool.
And they said, basically, we have a Ferrari and we live in Saint-Tropez, just outside Saint-Tropez, imagine, right?
Beautiful
and they said,
area,
It is beautiful, but they said the crime has increased. And so they said, when we drive our Ferrari home, we've been followed home and then we've been burgled. We're not comfortable with our nice bags, our nice clothes, wearing a watch. That doesn't happen in Dubai, Rob. You can show your wealth if you want to. You don't have to be flashy, but if you have and you want to, you can. And you can't live like that anywhere else in the world. You definitely can't.
No, it's funny because you're right. I mean, I've traveled to a ton of places. I've been to Dubai. I used to work in the cruise line industry, so I'm familiar with a lot of what goes on. I mean, it's been a while,
Okay.
but trends
Yep.
generally don't change. In fact, the trends have increased in the 15 years or so since I've really toured the world, other than vacation holidays since then. So you get a lot of migrant refugees coming up in France. I will pick on France for a second because I saw it starting to develop the last time I was there. And what's happening is a lot of migrants are coming up illegally into the south of France, and it's not very well protected, as you mentioned. It's not very safe anymore. Italy, the same problem. I mean, it's not uncommon for people to be held hostage in their own home in a southern villa in southern Italy, or in Sicily especially, where these places were once gems to retire in. Yeah, could you imagine sitting there with your $300,000 car getting looted in front of you and your house getting burglarized and you're held at gunpoint? I mean, or at knife point,
exactly.
which seems to be the common. Whereas Dubai, I can tell you from being in Dubai, I was only there in a short stint. I kind of toured through it for about 4 days off a cruise ship. We were docked and I got in and out overnight and had all sorts of fun there. I mean, say what you will about some issues of Dubai. One issue is not crime, and you do not have a public safety issue. That is true. You can walk around. One thing I noted was how clean and how lawful the place was walking through it at night.
Yeah.
Even out at a bar having a couple of drinks and then coming back out, nobody bothers you. Nobody's harassing you. You don't see the issues that you see in the first world where homelessness is exploding. I mean, I can tell you even here in Ottawa, a city that was almost spotless 30 years ago has a ravishing homeless problem now. And it doesn't make it safe anymore. You're right.
Yeah. I can explain the homeless issue because, again, this is something that people might not understand if they've not been to this part of the world. So we're obviously a Muslim country, and you know, there's the pillars of Islam, and one of them is that you always shelter those without. So in following the pillars of Islam, you would not let anybody in your family be out on the street. Somebody would help them. Okay. So that's how it is in this part of the world. Now, the second part, which is really important, is that none of us expatriates, and by the way, we make up 85% of the country. It's huge. That means an expatriate is anyone that's not from the United Arab Emirates. So I'm not Emirati, I'm English. I'm an expatriate, right? So we make up 85%. So can you imagine, we cannot come here and live if we don't have a visa. So to get a visa, we need to be checked off. Who is our sponsor, as in who's our job, what's our company that we're set up with, what are our funds, health reasons, are we okay? So do you see, it's almost like we're not in our own home countries where we feel entitled. I'm English, I can do what I want and be a slob in England because I was born there and I have a right.
That's true.
You don't have a right to be in the UAE unless you have got here and you've taken a step and you are somebody, or you have an opportunity, or you have a sponsor, or you have a job. So we have zero homeless. You just don't see homeless.
Yeah, no, and that's really cool. So take us through some of the dues that you want to look at when buying a property in Dubai. Say I just want to come in. Sure. Like my girlfriend and I are always talking about relocating and getting out of Canada. It's partly because I've traveled a lot and I see the variance and the difference, and who the hell wants to pay over half their income combined to taxes? It's insanity. That is what we're going through in Canada right now. It's highly unattractive. People realize how much tax decimates your pay and what you take in. Income tax especially. I mean, these countries that have no income tax, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, they usually have higher than normal sales taxes. They have to collect the money somehow, but you have a choice as to how you spend your money. This is the beautiful part of it. You don't have it taken at source.
Yeah, we don't have sales tax. The only tax we have, which really doesn't come into anyone's life that much, is only on services. So, example, if I hired a lawyer, then I would have to pay a 5% VAT. 5%, that's nothing.
Wow,
on
that's
the lawyer's
nothing.
fee.
Nothing. Yeah. That's probably the lowest tax country in the world with all that combined.
Exactly. But so look, in terms of real estate, we basically have, you've got to understand that 22 years ago, we were sand dune. Okay, that's where I have to start. So imagine 22 years. That's everybody's.
Yeah, it was like a fishing village.
Older than 22 watching this. Okay, so that means we're a very young market. We're now into the maturing stage. But what happens is we have two types of property. We call it off plan and we call it resale. And off plan is the under construction, which means it is not ready yet. And then we have the resale, which means it is already finished. Somebody's either living there, it's empty, or it's rented. You can touch the walls and, see the property. And that is the resale market, okay? Now, in our countries in the West, we don't talk about the resale market. We just talk about the market. But we have to bring that up here because we're only 22 years old. So in terms of how does a foreigner look at even attempting to buy property in Dubai, it's very simple. If you want to buy a ready property, you've either got to be a cash buyer or you have to have a mortgage. And you can't have a mortgage if you're not a resident. Okay? So it pretty quickly sorts people out. And that's why I would say 90% of my sales right now is off plan. Because you, as a non-resident, cannot get a mortgage in Dubai.
Sure.
Why not?
Sure.
The banks don't know who you are. They're not going to take a risk on you. You could get on a plane tomorrow and leave forever. Right? So unless you're a cash buyer, you cannot buy a property that is ready. So what do? You buy a property on a payment plan. And hence why so many of my clients from overseas are buying off plan, which is on a payment plan. So let me explain.
Off plan, on plan. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So let me explain how that works. Let's just be really easy. Let's imagine there's a payment plan that I tell you, Rob, is a 50-50 ready in 3 years. What does that mean? It means today you're going to book a property with 10%, and then you've got another 3 years to pay the other 40%. Okay, which makes up the 50. At handover, you get the key and you will either have to pay an amount then and there, or I could have you a really exciting deal, which is a post handover payment plan, which goes for another 3 years once you're living in it or you're getting your return from the rental, which is of course everybody's dream payment plan. But we don't have many of those. And when we do, they go in literally minutes. Okay.
I believe that.
So that is a payment plan. Just to confuse you all even more, I hope I don't, you could actually, for example, say to me, right, Lucy, there's a project I want to buy that's not ready yet, but it's already launched and fully sold out. So then what you do is I find you a private owner who already bought at launch, and they have decided they want to sell it on to you before it's ready. Okay. So, and this is very common. So what you then do is you have to pay them back what they paid. You have to pay them their premium, their profit. Okay. And then you go on to the payment plan with the developer, and it's now your property. And obviously there's a process for that. I'm sitting there as your realtor to make sure, the process is very clearly done, and the title deed registration goes from their name to your name. So that's what we do as the real estate agent. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. And I brought up some images of real estate here. I mean, some of these properties are just booming and banging. I mean, if you have some means and money, wow, look at that. Look at the lifestyle you can enjoy here. And of course, on this one right here, you can see some of the cityscapes. I mean, Dubai it's basically almost Vegas in the Middle East. There's everything and anything you can find in Dubai. I mean, it's a pretty exciting place, isn't it?
It is, but you know what? I have to say this. It's much different to Vegas. I've been to Vegas, and Vegas is very unique, but I find Vegas is very 1970s now. Dubai is very much 2022. It is super modern. Everything's automated. The properties are out of this world. The architecture is out of this world. I mean, if you look at that photo, I've actually got this. You see this villa. So this villa for sale, that one sold, right, at 110 million dirham. And that sold a year ago. If it had sold today, it would be double that price, okay?
Wow, and that's cool. Yeah, dirham's what? Is it 5 dirham? Yeah. 5 dirham for every US dollars? Is that about the rough estimate? So 25 million
it's
US?
3.6. So,
okay, so it's a little higher, yeah.
Yeah, so that's about 30, it's just under 30 million US dollars. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that though. Look how spectacular that looks. Look at the landscape. I mean, it's nuts what they've developed and built.
Well, this is it. And what you're looking at there with that villa on the beach with that beautiful pool and palm trees, that's the Palm Jumeirah. And each of these is called a branch. We call it a frond. So if you look at the Palm Jumeirah from space, it's in the shape of a palm tree, right? And each of the branches is like a frond. And down each frond is what that photo is showing you, which are mansions either side on the beach. So, but the Palm Jumeirah is very saturated. The prices are at their all-time high. I was selling these from, 10 years ago. I sold a plot of land almost just behind that, 2 plots down. And it's insane how cheap it was. I sold the plot at 17 million dirham, which is, what's that? Like, it's like not even 4 million US.
Yeah.
Imagine what they just sold that at. Like, it's insane,
It is. It's
done well.
Oh yeah, it's cool. It's a cool setup there. I mean, is it the Jumeirah? Is it, how do you say it again? Jumeirah? I'm trying to remember Jumeirah. So the Jumeirah, there's a hotel called the Jumeirah Hotel too, is there not?
There's many hotels, yeah. So Jumeirah is basically the whole coastline, and you've got the Jumeirah Beach Hotel, which is probably what you remember.
I do remember that one, yes.
You've got the very famous Burj Al Arab, which is a 7-star hotel, like a sail. And do you remember that Tiger Woods played golf off the very top on the helipad? That's very famous.
Yeah.
That's a really famous hotel. Actually, funny enough, a lot of footballers stay there, so I'm sure it will be packed with footballers right now.
Oh yeah.
But so why are people coming here, Rob? I think what's really important for people to understand is that people are really unsure of the future. They don't want to carry on living in their countries, but they're not ready to move today. So what I'm seeing is my clients are foreigners that are like, do you know what? Let's buy a property. It's off plan. It's not ready yet. We'll go on to the payment plan. By the time it's ready in 2-3 years, we'll have made a decision if we're coming or we're not. If we're not coming, we'll rent it out and short-term rent it. Or we could sell it and make a profit, or we're going to come and it will be our first home. So
that's cool.
I've literally, funnily enough, before you came on, I'm messaging somebody in Florida right now, and they want to buy a 3-bedroom because they were looking at either Portugal or Dubai, but they just like the lifestyle more in Dubai than Portugal. They're looking to buy a 3-bedroom, which is ready in 4 years, but they're like, we're not ready to move yet, but we know we need to get in the price right now because the price will go up. So they're going on to the payment plan.
Yeah, and that's a smart way to go. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get to a close of the show, we got Lucy J. Parker, Lucy Parker's web or YouTube channel. So, global real estate specialist, and you've got a growing community there. I mean, you're well over 1,000, almost getting near 2,000 subscribers now. YouTube is a hard grind. We talked about that. If you're watching this, definitely tune into some of her videos. Definitely subscribe to her channel, ladies and gentlemen. That's the first thing I want to say, because you're really supporting private individuals and their growth and their journey, and very valuable content. This is real content that she's sharing. And what else is there? What are the other ways to get a hold of you, Lucy? What are some of the best ways to get a hold of you? I love your energy, by the way. You got some great energy. I can see why you do well in this space. You're passionate, you're real about it, and you just punch down the middle on it with so much positivity and energy. And it's always great to have happy hour shows with guests like you. This is awesome. We'll have to do this again.
Absolutely.
Just guide us through this a little bit. What does your channel have to offer? What are you featuring? I mean, it looks like you have all kinds of real talks on various property offerings and deals through Dubai. So it's almost like you're taking everybody on an individual private journey, aren't you?
Yeah. So what I didn't share with you is before I got into real estate, I was a global tour guide. So I took people on adventure holidays around the world. So basically what I've done with my YouTube channel is I'm taking you on a journey around all the communities of Dubai, just as somebody that's curious, doesn't know the city, and you're probably going to buy off plan. So you're not even going to be here. So you don't even know what you're buying. So you need visually from your sofa to know what's out there. So that's what my YouTube channel is all about. I have two parts to it. I have the Lucy Real Talks, which I started quite recently, and it's really me just talking to you about questions that I get asked the most. So if any of your viewers want to ask me a particular question, or you have one, Rob, I could even do a video and put it on there. And then if you go down a bit, it says Dubai Property. At least twice a week, I'll bring out the latest offering. And what I want to share with you all watching is we sell out in minutes. Okay, I'm not exaggerating. It is like nowhere else on the planet. You guys are all sort of slowly going into recession. Dubai is in its second most successful year in history in real estate.
Wow.
So right now, there is no distress. We're at the top and we keep going up.
That makes sense because money migrates. People have money.
Yes.
Migrated out of bad economies to good ones. And I want to get back to one point you really mentioned because it's really, really important to me. Never have your eggs in one basket. That is a disastrous plan. People in Canada, for instance, that have money in their RSPs or in the States, their IRA account or 401k account, all this is just controlled by the government. You are at the lock, stock, and smoking barrel of sleazy politicians that can dictate your life. Now, they often do. They don't care about you. They care about one thing, getting reelected. You know, it doesn't matter what stripe. I've lived along a half a century of life, Lucy, to see this pattern. It's just a common pattern. Whereas we now at our fingertips can potentially have infinitely more freedom. You know, borders have become somewhat borderless. Yes, there are real defined borders, but your ability to pass through them has never been easier. With cryptocurrencies and crypto wallets, you can walk across a border to another country. You can take your gold and silver holdings, which aren't pegged down if they're in physical form, and walk across a border into another country with it. You can also, as Lucy's an expert in, develop and buy real estate in another place. And why wouldn't you do this as a plan? I mean, I think this is a brilliant action plan for anyone. You need really a 5 or 10 year success window to get there. And then you can leverage off and do these things. Just get disciplined with your money. Really, I mean, none of this is, in a sense, professional financial advice. Always seek professional advice for these things and these topics of the show. I'll have that in the show notes. But really look at diversifying what you can do and what kind of freedom you can build for yourself on a true level. And as you mentioned, Dubai offers more financial freedom than pretty much anywhere in the globe. I mean, 5% sales tax and no income tax. If you go to Grand Cayman, for instance, there's no income tax, but you're paying about 28% in everything you're buying.
There you go. There you go. There's a lot of advantages. I would really urge people to come and visit Dubai. It is the nicest place in the world for a holiday. There's so much to see. Families, kids, everyone. It's a good stopping place en route to the Maldives, for example, or the Seychelles. Emirates Airlines
I love those places, by the way. I've been to the Seychelles and the Maldives. They're awesome. You got to check out those islands.
And by the way, Emirates Airlines is officially the best airline in the world. Again, I'm not saying it. I have flown probably over 3,000, 5,000 flights in my life. They are the best, okay? So you want to experience right from when you get on the plane in your country here to Dubai. And I'm here to help everyone. And every nationality can purchase here, Rob. Everyone.
Awesome. Listen, you've been a tremendous guest. Thank you very much for being on the show. I'm going to have you again. We're actually going to have to do some type of video on site. I did that with Francois and Tammy Lovell in Costa Rica. We actually did a real tour. We're walking around, driving around. So I'll have to do that in Dubai a bit because there's some exciting things that are offered. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever you decide to do, have a terrific day. This is Rob and Lucy from The Drunken Great.
Thank you, Rob.